Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Today in this video, I'm just going to speak from my perspective, my opinion. I'm not going to be going over any charts, any price forecasts, reading any articles. I'm just going to give you my opinion on the silver market and where prices could be headed in the next 3 to 6 months. It's looking very, very bullish in that time frame. Every chart that I have read, every price prediction, everything is reflecting in the next 3 to 6 months, not only from the 2008 credit crisis that led to $50 silver, but we're also looking at previous times as well. I mean, history repeats itself, but we have much bigger players in the game right now. COVID-19 is something that came out of the blue that nobody could expect. And if you want to talk about crazy prices, well, people were living in crazy times, right? So today I'm just going to speak about why I think silver is so bullish. So before we start, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe because I post daily videos every single day. If you want to be updated on a day-to-day basis in the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date news in the world of precious metals, I am your guy. This is your channel. So with that said, let's continue on. So, let's talk about history, right? Back in Egyptian times, gold to silver ratio was 2.5 to 1. 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. That's the earliest ratio we've ever known, meaning that silver was almost as valuable as gold. And it makes sense because silver isn't much more attainable than gold is. Right, silver is actually scarce. It's very scarce. It's very hard to dig out of the ground, and right now mines are getting shut down. So there's not really much silver getting around, especially on a global scale with Mexico and Peru. So the gold to silver ratio right now is still way above 100, meaning that silver is undervalued. It either means gold is extremely overvalued or silver is undervalued. And right now, gold's sitting at a pretty natural price, right? So silver is undervalued. Extremely undervalued. And what that means is that silver is going to have to appreciate upwards. How much upwards? Well, let's talk about it. If the ratio is going to normalize, if we want it to normalize and gold stays at its price right now, even if it gets up to the $30, $40 range, that's a more even or average ratio. And that's if gold stays at its price now. But if silver is going to be rising to that price range, gold is definitely going to rise too. They're still extremely close to each other in price fluctuation. I am curious, this isn't the topic of the video, but I am curious when silver will break out and have its natural market, right? Because silver and gold have been so closely confined together. I do think they could be separate markets on their own, where if gold, I mean, silver's more volatile, obviously. Like if gold goes up 10%, silver's going to jump up 16%. If gold drops 10%, silver's going to drop 16%. Right, because silver is more volatile, it hits higher highs and lower lows, but they still do work almost mirror reflective like to each other. So when are the markets going to break out from each other? That's a question I could ask you. What do you think is going to be the cause of it? That's really the question, is what's going to cause silver? Is it going to be supply and demand? Is it going to be surplus, that side of it, or is it going to be something like COVID-19? With silver prices or silver's shortage, silver shortage is causing this massive demand not to be able to meet the supply, which could shoot the price up. But we could talk about $50 silver compared to $100 silver, because silver's been $50 before, and if we look at what happened when silver was $50, the same things were going on. The same exact things were going on. Recession looming, dollar losing its value, economic turmoil led to that. It was a credit crisis. But right now, COVID-19 is much more drastic than back in 2008, which led to 2011. So if we are thinking about the exaggeration of markets on a grand scale, on the grand scheme of things, $50 silver is minimal at least $50, because this is hurting the economy at a much, much larger rate on a global scale. So there's always the talk of $100 silver, and people say that's impossible. Nobody's gonna buy it. That's insane. Well, people never thought Bitcoin would reach $20,000 either when it was sitting at $500, $1,000. But it did, and people still bought it. Why? Well, let's talk about this. It's a herd mentality. It's a very herd-like mentality. When the price of something goes upwards, people tend to drive more to it. When the price gets higher, more people want to buy it. Why is that? It's because it's actually profitable now. People see that it's profitable. Yes, they should have bought earlier, and they're wasting their money basically. They're buying high and selling low, most likely. It's supposed to be buy low, sell high. Most people buy high and sell it after it's already corrected downwards and sell it for a loss. But that's not the point. The point is people buy it high, right? Doesn't matter when they sell it. The point is that people will buy $100 silver because the media is going to be talking about it. There's going to be YouTube videos talking about it. Your friends, your family, your next door neighbor is going to be talking about silver and gold, and why they wish they wouldn't have sold that gold necklace a couple years ago, or why they wish they would have kept their walking liberties that their grandparents gave them a couple years ago. Everyone's going to be talking about it. People are going to be digging through their change drawers. They're going to be digging through their jewelry drawers, trying to cash out. Because people aren't silver stackers at heart, not like you and I are. They're going to look at this as a quick paycheck. They're not going to hold on to it to see where the price really goes. They don't care. There's no emotional, attachment to it. So, when I'm thinking about all this, I'm trying to think about what the markets would look like, but what the economy would look like if silver reached $100. And I don't think the dollar would be, not, the dollar would still exist, but I think it would look much different. I think their priorities would be much different. Essential businesses, essential is the word for 2020. I think people would have a much more essential mind state, separating their wants versus needs. Just because you can buy something doesn't mean you can afford to buy it, right? Doesn't mean you can afford to buy it. You can buy a Tesla right now, doesn't mean you can afford to buy a Tesla. So I think the economy is going to look much more different. And I think COVID-19 is going to have a much larger impact on society than people realize. Businesses will never be the same. A lot of businesses aren't going to ever come back. The feds can pump as much money as they want into the economy, into the system. They can cushion us, but all that's doing is hurting the dollar more and exposing really how broke we are. Exposing really how broke we are. The dollar won't be in existence for too much longer. And it depends on, as an individual, when you're ready, if you're ready to step up to the plate and really start preparing, right? The whole mind state is preparing for the worst. And the worst case scenario is SHTF, apocalyptic mind state. It's not a zombie apocalypse, but something along the lines of this that's already happening. It's just how much worse is it going to get, right? And people really are curious on how much worse it's going to get. It's scary to think about, but us silver stackers, at least we are financially in control. And that's why I love physical gold and silver, because we are in complete control of our wealth. No bank is, no government is, no third party, nobody else is in control of our money. And that's, from another perspective, like stocks or cryptocurrency, where you have a custodian in the middle that you can't cash out your Bitcoin or sell or liquidate your 401k to certain terms. Gold and silver is the perfect way to have your wealth liquid enough to, if an emergency did occur, you could sell it. So anyways, I'm curious what you think about all of the topics I brought in this video. Where do you think silver is going to go, and what do you think the economy is going to look like? Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you enjoyed this video. I already posted 2 other videos today, so make sure you go check those out as well. I definitely think you will enjoy them. Pretty interesting things going along with silver's price, what's happening during silver's price. This video is more towards the future. The other 2 videos are more talking about right now with COVID-19 and everything going on. So anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. Make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe because I post daily videos. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.